Welcome back, everybody, to episode number 32 here in the Systematic Factory. We have been doing a lot of work in between episodes to get prepared for what we're going to do today. I want to get our oxygen production set up. I've designed a farm for this purpose, and it's going to be really massive, and I am going to put it right up here in this corner of the map, right up against space, because I'm going to use it for providing oxygen for our base. We're going to replace this system with the new one, and we are going to use it for creating our Oxylite for our rocket system. This seems like a good place to put it. While we've been doing that, we've been getting prepared. Well, a lot of things we've been working on is converting our power system over to heavy watt conductive wires with some of the metals that we have. The issue is, if we look here, our potential load is at 57 kilowatts, which even this wouldn't be able to handle if we hit that. But we're currently running 16 kilowatts, and a lot of times that spikes up past, I don't know if I can see that, our power generation here. It just shows us total usage, doesn't show us like the over time that I was hoping to see. We do here, average power produced, average power wasted. No, we don't see anything that gives us a graph for power usage at any given time, but we're spiking over the 20 kilowatt mark. And so we had this with regular heavy watt wires and heavy watt joint plates, which can only handle 20 kilowatts. So we're switching over to the heavy watt, which means we'll be able to run 50 kilowatts at a time through it without any problems at all. So we've been working on that, but mostly what we've been doing is waiting for our metals to build back up. Now that we've gotten our tamers all working correctly, we're stockpiling metals very, very quickly. So we are ready to get building on this thing here. I'm going to just kind of do this in phases because this is a really big build. So I'm just going to do sections, and then I will explain them to you as I get them put in. Gotten the first phase of our build set up here, and that is our power system at the top and the first layer of our oxygen generation system. This thing is going to be pretty big. It is specifically designed to have 10 electrolyzers because each of these uses 1 kilogram per second of water. I can feed a full line of water in here, and in theory, we can keep all of these running with just one line from our water system, which will be great. So it'll be overkill for sure, but we're going to do something to do it big. So the way that this is working is I just have these here. I've been messing around with some different systems I want to try. I think I'm going to use them. Instead of having pressure sensors here so that this will pull the gases, only pull hydrogen, because of how big this is, I can't quite get the pressures the way I want them to be. What I did is I set up a filter system, and these use the, a powerless filter trick. These technically do require power. They have 10 watt power there, but it's not actually used because it's constantly shut off, and there's no real power drain from them. So basically the way this works is the gases will go around the loop, and this one says if you're not hydrogen, send it down this way, and this one says if you are hydrogen, send it up this way. Hydrogen goes up to the top. And what's nice about this type of filter is that if the power cuts off, let me simulate what happens if that would happen. So let's cut the power off here. If we have the power cut off there, this loop will keep going around, but these don't have power, so they can't send anything out. So you never have an errant packet going the wrong way. This will just keep circulating until the power comes back on. So if we were to bring this power back, you can see it immediately starts working again, and it doesn't have anything going the wrong way. It's hard to tell that now because we just have mixed gases in here that are all coming out this way. But I have tested this over hundreds and probably thousands of cycles in different playthroughs, and this won't break. Power cuts off, no problem. We get too much gas coming in, it won't let any more in until there is space for the gas to come in. So if the pipe gets blocked on the output, not a problem either. So that I have one of these set up on each of these pumps, and then I'm probably gonna change them up a little bit to make them a little more compact. Right now it's just testing them out. But they come down here to the first layer of an infinite storage that I'm setting up, where all the oxygen will get stored down here, where I have a huge room to set up pumps to pump it out wherever I need it to go. It's kind of, you know, you're not exactly efficient with power because I'm pumping it in and then I'm pumping it back out again instead of just sending it where it needs to go. But I like being able to store huge amounts, and it's space efficient instead of being power efficient, and power isn't really an issue. So right now I have this set up pumping everything out of this room because I want this room to be empty, because this is where hydrogen will be stored. I have some vents here that will allow for infinite storage of hydrogen. So this room will store the hydrogen, and it will also pump the hydrogen into these pumps, or hydrogen generators, I mean, so that they will run and self-power this whole setup. The only thing that won't get powered from here is the pumps coming out. So when I want to get oxygen to send it somewhere, I'm going to have to run power to it. But that's fine. This will otherwise completely power itself. It will run forever. And it will just, as long as I'm sending water in, I will get hydrogen and oxygen out. The hydrogen will power itself. And if the water supply cuts off, it'll just wait for more water, and it'll still run fine because of these filters that I'm using. Otherwise, sometimes when it starts and stops, you would have some gases going the wrong way and you'd have some issues. But once we're done, right now I have these liquid locks set up, and I'll probably leave them there just because there's no harm in it. But I could just seal it up and be done, and this will produce a ridiculous amount of oxygen for us at all times. Gotten all of our filters placed, and they're working pretty well. I did some rearranging of spaces. I moved this down a little bit so we have space to put the vents below the filters, which means that they can come out and drop right down into them. This one I come over to a little bit just because it's sometimes these vents, if they're right up against a corner, they will get kind of tricky and you'll lose some ability to pump out if it gets completely full. So I have all of them set up. I have the two coming from the vents up here. Oh, this one I cut off when I was adjusting things. I need to hook that back on. I want to set these to 250 for these and 450 for the bottom ones. That's what I use in the other system, and it's just the standard design that I think it first came from Francis John. I'm not sure, but actually I guess he calls it the Rodriguez, so it probably came from Rodriguez on the credit. It doesn't matter. This is a modified version of that for sure. It's definitely inspired by it. We have everything here running, and so we have a backlog of oxygen in here. You can see there's 290 kilograms of oxygen per tile, and this will just keep building up because these vents will keep venting it out, and it'll just build up through this room. And then now we have plenty of space in here to put down lots of pumps to pump oxygen out where we need it to. Up here we're storing the excess hydrogen. We're already up to 18 kilograms per tile, and we have enough in there that we are able to keep this farm running. So these pumps just keep the hydrogen stocked up here. The automation shuts it off when we have enough power so that we're not just burning hydrogen for no reason, and that means that everything's working good. I gotta reconnect these two wires. And then I think everything else is working good. I think I decided I'm going to keep it open like this, so I put in some canvases. I'll get somebody up here to decorate those just to make it look nicer. Might do some more decoration along the side there like that as well. And we are doing pretty good as far as resources go. if you look, we're sitting at 30 tons of steel. We're not producing any more because we have so much. We've built up to 44 tons of iron. Our other ones are even higher. The only thing that's not getting built here is tungsten. I just have, I mean, that must have come from deconstructing gravitas buildings. I haven't actually made any tungsten. And the copper is from refining copper ore into copper. And that's all I have. That's not renewable. The rest of these will just keep getting more and more as we go. Oh, and lead is what I got from demolishing the world as well. I'm using that for our power system for most of our line. We have most of that done. You can see we have a few spots where buildings are now broken because we're sending all this power through and it's breaking them. I have to go through and fix those, which is going to be kind of a pain in some of the spots because they're in vacuumed rooms, but I'll get them fixed and we'll go from there. The next thing I want to do before we start, I might set up the Oxylite refinery just so it can be running, and then while it's producing Oxylite for us, what I want to do is move out of this base. So this base has served us for a very long time, but in order to get the job suitability achievement done, the one where everybody has to put on a suit and do stuff, it's a lot easier to manage if they each have their own rooms. Plus, that's what I want to switch over to. I think I'm going to set those up right under here, right underneath the oxygen, because it makes sense. I have oxygen here. We can feed it right into the base, and then they'll be close to where I need them to go. And we're just going to slowly start moving everything out of here. For now, we're going to leave this system running so we can keep oxygen supplied in here and keep these suits going. But when we get this done, we will have oxygen that feeds right from here for all of our Atmos suits, and we will have everybody living here. It means I got to move some things around. This has been my sleet wheat storage for a very long time. I have a ton of sleet wheat stored in storage in our deep freezer, so like I don't really need it. But what I had done is I kept, I have 2,668 kilograms of sleet wheat stored away. I kept this because this is just growing in a perpetual state. So if I ever wanted to do a sleet wheat farm at some point, I knew I could tear this down. I'm not going to worry about it because there's sleet wheat on other planetoids as well, and we're about to go there. I'm going to rip this out. I'm going to put a new place to store our ice and set that up nicer, remove this, and we're going to move some of this power stuff into a better system. I think I want to set up like a cooled column for our power along the side here so that we can regulate it, because I'm slowly pumping gases out of the mat, and I want to make it so that every system is in a sealed room that has its own gases, and then I'm just going to make the base a vacuum. Because I've never done that. I think it'll be fun to try to see if we can do it. Because once we get the pods up and running, they will be completely sealed up, and we can pump oxygen into it further when they're living, and when they come out, they'll be in suits. So it won't matter if they're in vacuums, and then we can just deal with that that way. It's going to take forever if I decide to do that just to get the gases out of here, but we are no longer putting gas out into the map, except for here, we're venting oxygen. I'm going to fix that. So I'm going to do a few things to get that up and ready to go, and then we will start moving probably just one duplicant at a time once we get this figured out, and get set up here to house all 14 of the duplicants we have so that they're all in their own individual pod. My next step here at our complex is to start getting the apartments installed for our duplicants. I have several that are done, and so I've assigned them. We can see that Leela is here in her apartment right now. I'm trying to make them look as cool as I can. Basically, they have some really nice functionality. They have a bed for each person and a great hall for each person. So it's a private bedroom, a great hall, and then a washroom, which will give us some good morale. And then they have their own private Atmos suits, very similar to how I have it set up over on this side for here I am just trying to get it so that basically every duplicate in our colony on both asteroids has their own private quarters. And I've queued up all the other construction that I need done. We have a couple pipes there that need to be finished for the next one to be working. I'm going to make those high priority because that is an apartment I've actually opened already. I want to make sure that those get done so that they can use the bathroom without having to run all the way across the map. So basically, as I get the construction finished, I put in back walls, and then I put in a checkpoint. But these other ones don't have a checkpoint. That way, everybody can come in and do the construction as they need to get it all finished. While they're working on finishing up the rest of these apartments, I'm going to start laying out the construction for our Oxylite refinery. So for our main section of the refinery, I'm going to base it around, I want to have an auto sweeper that is going to handle doing everything. So I'm going to put that down first. That way I can kind of mark out where I can build buildings that'll function for it. So it's basically 3 blocks over from there on each side and the 3 in the middle. Oop, that is not where I wanted to place that. So that'll cover everything in there. We're going to go in here. I think it's actually under refinement. Oxylite refinery. Perfect. We're going to, I think I'm going to try to fit 2 of those on the sides. And then I want to do a space here that is raised up. I'm going to put water inside there so that we can store our gold inside of a water pool. You know what, I think I want to be able to have 2 storages. So let's remove that. I'm just going to put like a lip like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'll put down my plumbing here or my bottle emptier there. I want to be able to do a storage bin that has Oxylite and then a smart storage bin that I can use the trick I do where I put just a small amount here at a lower priority. So once this is full, it goes into here and it shuts the system down. And then I also want a storage bin to put gold in so that we can bring it up here and the auto sweeper can move it in to keep it running. The purpose of the bottle emptier is that I need to have water underneath here for our Oxylite to not off-gas. So these are going to have Oxylite in them, and I don't want them to be releasing oxygen. So there's 2 ways you can do it. I can either put a small layer of water across the bottom, which will trick these into not off-gassing, or I can seal the room up and allow it to off-gas until the pressure builds up and then vacuum seal it. I think this will be the easier of those 2 options. So what we need to do next is get ventilation up here because we're going to need to have oxygen going into these. And we'll come down this way. We'll be able to put a pump right here. So let's put down our pumps so we see where they're going to be. I'm just going to do a double pump. It comes like this. And then this can come up, meet to that line. And then we're going to need power for that. So the power line I have here has, it's 1680. I think what I'm going to do is set up another power because I don't want to be, I want to separate these basically. So let's put that down. Put down some tiles here for this. And then we will run our power across this way. I need to do, before I do that, I need to do this to get our power line going correctly. We'll replace that with a heavy watt wire. And then I think what I'm going to do is you know, rather than work around it, I'm just going to make this little 5 watt thing connect to here. Then I'm going to come across like that. And then this system, I'll connect like this. May as well put this there in case I want to put in a third a while. And then that way I can disconnect this, it'll go to this stuff. And then these wires can just come up and hit these two. It should make us good. We just have to get these wires in, and then I can cut them where they need to be. That'll get oxygen up to here. We'll put that down. We'll set this up for gold, and then that should go as far as getting it to go. I need to get power up to here. So yeah, let's do another power and send a line up that way. Having our power kind of down here underneath, I'm just going to place these and then I'll change them out for steel when I have more steel. I'm making it now, but I don't have a lot at the moment. So fortunately now we can place things down and then swap the materials later, which I think was a really cool addition. So let's do... think about how I want to do this. I need to have a third power line that goes up here. Let's actually have this one come up like this. Then this line can connect here. This one can go up here. And it'll come through here. And it'll follow up along our ventilation line. And it'll connect to all of these things. I'm going to put in some ladders to get them over here to do that. Oh, that's not going to work. You know what? I'll take out the gold one and I'll put in a ladder here to make that work. Actually, instead of doing that, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this whole thing, move it over, but up, do it this way. Then I can cancel this. Then we're going to copy this whole thing and we're going to make it go there. And then we will put our auto sweeper right here. Cancel these lines. Put the ventilation line that goes up to connect. Put the power line that goes up to here. And I think that that should cover everything that we need. We just need to get it built. So let them do their jobs. They have a lot of queues they're working on, so it's probably going to take a little while, and then we'll come back and see if there's anything I haven't thought of to get this Oxylite system up and running. All right, we've gotten our Oxylite refinery up and running. I don't have the second one powered yet because I have to run a second line because these take 1200 watts and one line isn't enough to do it. But I'll get another line run up in a little bit. I just wanted to show you that this is working. We have gold stored in here. I have Oxylite that comes out. Sweeper puts it into here. Once this fills up, it will put one into here, which will shut off production. So once we have 20 tons of the stuff saved up, it will shut off. Currently have this door closed. Well, I do now. I had it open to sweep the room out so that nobody can come in here and grab that Oxylite to try to put it in themselves. I don't want dupes running all the way up here for no reason. So this door is locked. This will run by itself. Anytime the Oxylite comes out and lands here, it will be covered in water, so it won't off gas. It says overpressure there, and it does the same when it's in here. So we don't have any oxygen coming out of the storage bin or the smart storage bin or from when it comes out here. So this will just keep running. As far as our barracks go, we've gotten them all finished. Some of them are still being decorated. But we have everybody in their own barracks, or their own a little apartment, I should say. Everybody has, like I said before, I still need to do some finishing up to get the private bedroom buff with the decorating. Until we put that back wall in, it's just a luxury barracks. So to get that extra morale, we need to put the drywall in. But we have a great hall and a washroom for everybody. And I have an extra room here in case I decide to bring somebody back over from the other side or a new dupe in, just in case. mostly it is there because it fit into the space. Because those are all set up and everybody has a room, I've removed their beds, I removed this bathroom, I removed this great hall because it's not needed anymore. I'm slowly dismantling everything here just to get all of our resources back from it. The diamond will be really useful. I don't have a lot of it. The other thing that we're doing is working on setting up our food distribution. The problem is since I'm running surf and turf on both this colony and the other colony currently has quite a backlog. Everybody's stocked up. They have hundreds of cycles worth of food in their storage bins. So I disconnected that line so that when I produce food, it goes and it gets shipped out up to the new apartment building. The problem is the way I had it set up, it comes through here, it fills up this receptacle first, then it fills up this receptacle, then it fills up this receptacle. So down here at the bottom, people aren't getting any food for their rehydrator. I've solved the problem temporarily by turning surf and turf on in this refrigerator so they can come here to get food, and then they got to run all the way back and eat. Not a great solution, but at least nobody's dying. What I'm doing to fix it long term is instead of having this line go up here and connect to all the in a row, I am going to have them come this way. It goes across. It will split into two. This one will come down. It'll split into 1, 2, 3. Actually, I have. Let's see how I have this worked out. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3. This part here, I connected incorrectly. This part doesn't need to have a line connecting the two to here. So basically, it comes in, one will go this way, one will go this way. When it gets here, one will go this way, one will go this way. When it gets here, one will go here, one will go here. And then we'll have one go here and one go here evenly. And down here, it does the same thing. It splits evenly here. Here, this one has 3 because I have an extra one down here, though technically that I don't need to have for now because that apartment is empty. So I'll leave that off until all the other ones are full. I think that what I should do is connect this line here to save me on some space. So I'm still working this out as we go. This one, we can connect this to save a little bit of conveyor belting. I'm going to leave it like that just so I can visually see what's going on. And then the same with this one. I can connect here instead of going all the way up there, because it'll have the same effect. This I can connect here. Okay, and then that should all work pretty good to distribute it out. So what'll happen is I send 6 every time the dehydrator is finished making food, and then it'll come here to here first, and then 3 of them will go this way, 3 of them will go that way. Then that comes to here, and it will go back and forth, giving food to each station, and then this will split it when they come through as well, and it'll go back and forth, meaning that these will be evenly distributed, and so will these. So then, in essence, it'll be like a round robin system. It'll come through, it'll hit each of them once, and then it'll start the whole process over, and should evenly distribute food until we have a backlog in our receptacles. I may have to go. I think what I'm going to have to do is, let's see. I think I'm going to probably have to deconstruct this and then put them back in manually to here. I probably build a station right here to make it so that the duplicants can bring them down, because I just want to redistribute it. But we'll do that after we get all the lines put in and we finish making the conveyor rails. The problem with conveyor rails is I believe we need to have a mechatronics person building them. So what I need to do is every one of these rooms, I need to make it so that our mechatronics person can get in there. So we're just going to go in and add access for her to every room so she can go in and do it. She's going to be like our superintendent in the apartment building. She can get around to do all of the work that we need in all the apartments. So the other things that I need to do to finish up the apartment building build is they are no longer spending time in the main base, which means they have lost their nature park reserve bonus. And to fix that, I'm going to add some new nature reserves right in front of these doors. I haven't decided if I want to set up multiple ones yet, or if I want to just make it so that they all go through one big one, or it may have to be, I could do a couple different ones because they can only be 120 blocks, or I could just do one down here and make it so that this ladder is blocked off so they have to come down through a certain path. I haven't quite decided yet. I also want to start building the Great Monument. That's under furniture, I think. It is. The base, I think it's 15 blocks tall, so I was thinking maybe this area right here would be a good spot for it. I also really need to work on cable management and pipe management, and gas management's not too bad right now. Finally, the last thing I did is these rooms are really hot just because the area is hot. It's not going to generate a ton of heat in here, so I just patched into the line from here that is cooling for now, and I'm cooling off the base just at the end, and then it's slowly working its way out. I need to also put in a cooling solution for our power brick that we're building along the wall. You can see some of the spots are getting really hot, so we definitely need to handle that. And I want to revamp this whole system here, because this was a fun build. I did some things in it that were kind of ridiculous that are not very efficient, just for fun, to make it look cool. I'd like to make this smaller, make it just have what I need, and kind of fix it up. So I may build a new brick up closer to the apartments. That way our duplicants don't have to travel so far to get to it, and then we'll decommission this one and tear it apart. But that's a down the road thing. For now that we have Oxylite, we can start supplying that to a rocket as solid coolant, and we'll be able to start launching rockets into space to do some exploration. Hopefully we'll do that in the next episode if I can get everything together to do it. And then we can start getting all the other achievements finished. I'm pretty excited about that. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.